Alright, hello YouTube. This is my first deck profile. I'm doing Dark Worlds today. It's just a standard Dark World Turbo variant that should be very competitive at locals or regionals. So feel free to net deck. I don't really care. Just don't say you designed the deck yourself. Alright, here it is. Triple Grapha. This is standard in Dark World Turbo. I don't know why you wouldn't run 3. This card is just too good in it. You drop it for a discard, pop a card on the field, and then it's a renewable 2700 beat stick. And you got Triple Snow. Again, this is standard in Dark World. You drop it as a discard. You can search out any Dark World card you need. Not only monsters, but spells as well. So you can get the field spell, you get Dark World dealings, you can get another Grapha, you can get a Brow, you can get a Beige. Anything you need, this guy can search out for the most part. Then Triple Brow. This card is, again, a staple in Dark World. It's Tour Guide fodder. Tour Guide can special summon this, and you can do an Ixies play, or also you can normal summon Tour Guide, get this guy from the deck, and revive it to the hand, bounce it to the hand to revive the Grapha, and you go an instant plus. It makes the deck a bit faster. You discard it, you draw one, so it lets you draw through your deck faster and get the cards you need. And then one Beige. This card lets you get out multiple Graphas in one turn. This card, you can discard it and it special summons itself, and then you can bounce it for a Grapha. Or you can also normal summon it, just like the other Dark World monsters, and bounce it for a Grapha. So you can go dealings, drop it, revive Grapha, and do that several times, and you can get out all 3 Graphas in one turn. Then the last monsters, you have 2 Tour Guide. Again, you have that Brow play I said earlier. And you can also Ixies. There's plenty of good Ixies that this card can bring out. Leviair, Leviathan, Giga Brilliant, Acid Golem, Zenmanes. It's like running extra Brows in the early game to bring out the Grapha, and it adds some consistency in play with gives you some more options with the Ixies plays. Then we go onto the spells. We have the staple lineup of Dark Hole, Heavy, Monster Reborn. Those are pretty standard in every deck. It's just you run them. On a side note, for Monster Reborn, you usually don't want to revive the Grapha. You want to revive a Dark World a regular Dark World monster, and then you can bounce that to revive the Grapha. So not only do you get the Grapha on the field, you also get another Dark World monster in hand. Then in Allure of Darkness, you draw 2 cards and then banish 1 dark monster. In a bad situation, it can get you the card you need in a pinch. Or if you have multiple Dark Worlds or multiple Tour Guides, you can drop 1 and you get instant 2 cards. So it lets you draw through your deck faster. And a Foolish Burial. This is an instant way to drop Grapha into the grave. This card is just so good in this deck. Normal summon a Dark World monster, and then you can bounce it and you have an instant renewable 2700 beat stick. Then Triple Upstart Goblin. The 1000 they gain is really meaningless, but the advantage of having a 37 card deck is just amazing. This deck can have a bit of consistency problems because you can open all spells. So this makes it a 37 card deck for the most part, and that just raises the consistency to a point where you'll usually open with a playable hand, and you can just draw through a free card for getting to that point. Then we have the discard outlets. We have Card Destruction. This card is just ridiculous in Dark World. Dark World is one of the reasons why this card is limited. You can drop multiple Dark World monsters for the discard, and then instantly get all of their effects off. So it's just really good in Dark World. You basically just want to run it. The only time it's not good would be in the mirror match. Then Triple Drag Down to the Grave. You get to look at your opponent's hand and discard their best card. And then before playing this, you just set all of your spells and traps and dead monsters, so you have only Dark Worlds in your hand, and you make them discard the Dark World you want them to discard. So not only do you get off their effect, you get to see their hand, and you get to pop their best card. And it combos really well with Mind Crush, which will be coming up later. Triple Dealings. This card is just really, really good. You draw one card and then you discard whatever card you want. So you can pick whichever Dark World monster in your hand you want to get rid of and drop it, so you get its effect, which is great because if you open with a hand like 2 tour guides, you're not going to want to activate that drag down. You're going to want to use this. The only time this isn't good is in the mirror match, because they get to pick their Dark World monster that they want to discard, and they get that secondary effect off too. And lastly, Gates of the Dark World. This card is also really abusable. Not only do all of your fiends, which is every monster in the main deck, gain 300 attack and defense, you also get to banish a fiend type monster to drop to discard one fiend type monster and draw one card. So you get to draw through your deck, and you also get the advantage of getting off the Dark World monster's effect, which can be just so abusable. And you can also activate it, use the effect, banish, discard, draw, then activate another one on top of it and do the same thing over again. Just be careful because they can MST it on activation of the cost, and then you don't get the effect and you banish. Onto the traps. Deck Devastation Virus. This also helps with the Mind Crush because you get to see their hand. But this is mainly in here because of wind-ups, because almost all of their monsters have less than 1500 attack. They're magicians, they're sharks, they're rabbits, they're rat. Basically anything they need to start going off is less than 1500 attack, and this just kills them for 3 turns. Unless if they basically draw all defensive traps for 3 turns, you got game. If you resolve this, you should win. And double Mind Crush. You have 4 ways of seeing the hand, not counting the second Mind Crush. So you get to see their hand with the drag down and the deck devi. You can wait, you can pick another card and they lose it. If they have multiple copies of it in hand, they lose all of them, which just can be so devastating. If they open 3 copies of a card, you basically got rid of half their hand. Also, if they have if you're attacking for game with 2 monsters, you can just call out Gores and just discard a useless card from your hand, and that way you have the peace of mind knowing that they don't have Gores. Alright, 3 Reckless Greed. Again, this is a staple in Dark World Turbo. You want to run 3 of this. I wouldn't side this out ever. Personally, I just wouldn't. It's an instant +1 when you activate it. You can chain it to your own draw phase, so you get 3. And their draw skipping effect does not stack. So if you activate 3 of these, you only skip 2 draw phases. So usually you'll draw through your deck fast enough where you'll see multiple copies of this once you activate one. So you usually end up only skipping 2 or 3 draw phases. That's it. And Solemn Judgment. Again, this is basically a staple in all decks. Very few decks wouldn't run this. It's just too important. Starlight Road. I think this got better this format with Mirror Force at 2, Torrential at 2, Dark Hole, and Heavy. There's six cards that you're likely to run into that'll cause this to go off, and you instantly plus when you special summon that Stardust. Also, you have your own Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, and your 2 Torrential. So it's just so easy to get off, and that extra bit of protection. You can just set this with the Field Spell, and you can get a free Stardust if they try and heavy you. And then last but not least, 2 Torrential. Again, wind-ups like to spam the field. This slows them down a lot. Slows them down just tremendously. Alright, on to the extra. Staple rank 3s. Leviathan, Giga, Acid, Zenmains. No Levier. I don't own one at the moment, but when I get it, it'll probably go in for one of these. Probably Levier. Or one of the later rank 4s. I also run 1 Tempo because I just hate Zenmains. So if they have a Zenmains on the field and I got a Tour Guide, I can go into this guy and get a 2700 beat stick and get rid of all of those nasty materials that Zenmains will have and start popping my field with. Rank 4s. Gemini Pearl, Mystroke, Utopia, and Photon Pupil Imperative. He's coming out for Utopia Ray. That should be coming in the mail soon. Probably Mystroke will come out for the Levier. But these are fairly easy to get out. It's a beige and a normal summon, basically. So, I mean, you don't usually bring them out, but you might need them, so they're in here. On to the Synchros. You side deck 1 Fabled Raven, so you can get all these out. Cadister, Black Rose, Weavern, Stardust for the Starlight, so you don't really want to Synchro Summon him, and Scrap Dragon. The 7s are the easiest to get out, and then the 8s. With the 7s, you basically just summon Raven, use its effect to discard a beige, and you have a level 3 tuner and a level 4. Or you can just discard a beige and one other card, and then you have a level 8 synchro. Last monster is Chimeratech Fortress Dragon for the sided Cyber Dragons. Gear Use is going to become big, so you want to run this. And on to the current side, which will probably be changing as the format develops. Got 2 Cyber Dragons for the Gear matchup. Karakuri's in that. It's a free summon, and then it self-replaces when you summon Chimeratech, and you can wipe out their whole field. And if they have swarms and you manage to hold them off for a turn, you get a really big monster. I hate the mirror, so triple DD Crow. This also works against like the Rogue and Zector deck, because if you banish their Hornet, they usually will have one out to it, which would be in the form of Levier. But this card can be ridiculous. If your opponent only has 1 Grapha in the grave, they normal summon a Dark World, you just drop this guy, they lose their Grapha, and then you can usually just kill the Dark World the next turn. It's really good. Then 2 Effect Veiler for those windups, which are becoming huge. They won YCS Toronto, and I think 3 of the 4 top spots had them. Or it was either 2 or 3 of the 4 top spots. Then Raven. Your opponent will side out their Effect Veilers usually, so this guy can get his effect off easily. So he's really good, and if you want to side out your dealings in the mirror match, he's a decent replacement. Then you got your Gozen match again for those windups. They do so well against this deck at times, so this just slows them down. It stops them from their Ixies play, so it prevents them from swarming. And a Skill Drain, again, stops the windups, is decent against Gear Karakuri's, and that anything that relies on monster effects on the field, this stops them. And finally, triple MST, and then 2 Royal Decree. This deck has a problem with side deck hate. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, Macros Cosmos, Dimensional Fissure. Those really stop this. So the MST stop them, and then Decree. And Decree also has the side bonus of stopping heroes, which is also another big deck right now. But you don't want them to have Shadow Imprisoning or Macro, because you just have no outs other than this and Heavy. So that's just about it. You have to run these. And you usually have to side them in. Alright, well, thanks for watching the video, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Just if you don't like, just please leave a little constructive criticism, so that way I can fix this video, fix the next video for the future. Alright, thank you.